Euromaxx highlights. And here's your host, Layla Harak.
Hello, and a very warm welcome to our highlight show, where we've picked some of the plums for you to enjoy. Here's a sample. Human canvas. Johannes Stutter is the world champion body painting. Plus, lovely in lace. Fashion designer Irene Luft specializes in lace creations. And natural spas. Bathing in Iceland's geothermal springs is a national tradition. Well, if you're ever chosen for a sitting with painter Johannes Stutter, don't expect to see your image later on a regular canvas. That's because you're the canvas. Stutter is a body painter. In fact, he's the world champion. He uses patterns from nature when he works on you that can be quite spellbinding, even disturbing.
The human form merges into nature. Bodies are painstakingly disguised to blend into their surroundings. It's an art form known as camouflage body painting, which aims to create the perfect illusion. Italian artist Johannes Stutter is the man behind these works of art. People have been his canvases for 12 years.
I had
already painted some pictures before I started with body painting. Suddenly I had the idea that I'd like to paint bodies. The experience was so special that I immediately decided to do it again. I wanted to do it with other colors, other models, other themes. And after that, I was a body painter.
Und plötzlich war ich ein Bodypainter.
The 35-year-old started doing body painting professionally 4 years ago. He starts off by testing out some designs on paper. His art has won him numerous prizes. He even won the World Body Painting title last year. Johannes draws inspiration from the world around him. Whether it's nature, people, art, or day-to-day life.
Bei den Camouflage body paintings.
With camouflage body paintings, it's usually the case that I see the background first and then consider what type of person would fit with it. Bald people are often the best because it's hard to conceal their hair.
Am besten geeignet, weil die Haare schwer sind zu verschwinden zu lassen.
Body painting is also finding its way into advertising. In this commercial for an airline, the crew is naked except for a coat of paint. Johannes himself has worked on commercials. He painted children as part of an ad for a beverage company in Turkey. Today, he's back home in northern Italy. Here, more than 2,000 meters high in the Val Ridane Valley, he's creating a new motif. On a walk, Johannes noticed the unusual wood grain on a hut in the Alps. His friend Angelo Lombardi offered to model for the new design. Johannes works with water-soluble body paints. He has to stand back in order to see his work from the right perspective.
I've done the most difficult parts already. The streaks, the black parts, and also the transition from wood to body. Now I just have to add on the wood grain onto the upper body.
It's the first time Angelo's ever modeled for body painting.
The feeling is a bit strange, but it's okay. I like it.
It takes 2 hours for Johannes to complete his latest camouflage body painting.
So, the work is finished. I think it's gone well.
The model still needs to remain sitting for the photos, despite a cold wind blowing through the Alps. They'll form part of a series Johannes is doing, inspired by wood. He then wants to use them for his own photo calendar.
Those are amazing. Well, those of you who are into fashion have no doubt noticed that the great fabric of the past, lace, has made quite a comeback. It seems to be everywhere, either as an ornament or as the entire outfit. Part of that resurgence is thanks to Munich-based fashion designer Irene Luft. Her creations are intricate, her embroidery beautiful. Here's the story of the allure of lace.
Whether it's a light pink dress made entirely of lace, a combination of silk and lace, or a see-through creation with lots of embroidery, designer Irene Luft experiments with lace and reinterprets it. She garnered plenty of attention at this year's Berlin Fashion Week when she sent models onto the catwalk sporting her current collection and matching gas masks.
Lace is an exciting material that can still be used in a modern way. It depends on the shape of the dress, or the embroidery, or what materials you mix it with. For example, I've put lace on plastic film, and not just used it in the traditional way.
Her creations first come to life on paper at her studio in Munich. Irene Luft is a couture dressmaker. During her training, she developed a passion for lace. She cuts and sews her lace dresses herself. Some take several weeks to complete. They're mostly one-of-a-kind pieces, which cost anywhere from 1,000 to 4,000 euros. After completing a degree in fashion, Irene Luft worked for various labels. In 2009, she went into business for herself and rediscovered her love of lace.
When you have a piece of embroidery, it's a shame to just cut through it with scissors. You try to shape it so that you don't see the stitches. It's very time-consuming and requires lots of patience. You need to sew parts of it by hand and not with a sewing machine, so that the stitches aren't visible.
3 hours from Munich is the Falkland region of eastern Germany, renowned for being a center of embroidery that dates back 200 years. This is where Irene Luft orders the Plauen lace for her creations. As soon as she comes up with an idea, she talks it over with another designer, Kati Reuter, to see if it's feasible. They have created 3 collections together.
Plauen lace is something special, as great importance is placed on its high quality, and it enjoys a very long tradition here in Plauen, which is known as the City of Lace.
For many years, the embroidery firms here only made home textiles. Plauen etched lace was mainly found in tablecloths, curtains, or window dressings. But that's changing now. Lace and embroidery are enjoying a fashion renaissance.
Plauen lace has its origins in fashion. That's what made it big. Due to the world wars and changes in fashion, lace was no longer used. Now the fashion industry is returning to its roots and placing more emphasis on embellishments and classy details, like lace.
Internationally as well. Lebanese designer Eli Saab uses lace in his haute couture collections. As do Vivienne Westwood, Jean-Paul Gaultier, Dior, and Austrian designer Lena Hoschek. Lace is back on the catwalk. At this year's Vienna Opera Ball, German model Franziska Knupper wore one of Irene Luft's lace gowns.
Lace belongs to almost every outfit today. Everyone has some in their closets. There are different ways to combine it, for the red carpet or for every day. People are now daring to wear something different, not just simple pieces.
Irene Luft plans to work together with an embroidery firm to develop new technologies to make lace more modern than ever. And she plans to set up an haute couture workshop in Plauen to produce handmade fashions, naturally with plenty of lace.
Next stop is Iceland, where there are geothermal spas just gushing to see you. In fact, a record number of visitors have made Iceland their vacation destination. The many thermal pools dotted all over the island make pool hopping a popular pastime. We decided to dive in with an expert who knows all the hot spots.
This is the Blue Lagoon Geothermal Spa, one of Iceland's greatest tourist magnets. More than 600,000 visitors come here every year. But Unnur Valdis Kristjansdóttir, like many of her countrymen and women, doesn't come here often. That's because Iceland offers countless other hot springs and baths that aren't listed in the travel guides. To introduce us to the Icelandic hot spring culture, 41-year-old Unnur takes us on a mini expedition. Bathing in the springs is almost a daily ritual for her, and it's an old tradition on the island.
I mean, like for some nation, they meet at the bar or go to, I don't know, cinema or something, some public space. Here, I would say it's the swimming pool. That's the place where you meet.
Our first stop is the capital Reykjavik. Right next to the airport is the city beach, where Unnur spends most of her lunch breaks. The water is 38 degrees Celsius, 100 degrees Fahrenheit. To cool off, she heads to the frigid Atlantic, which is about 11 degrees Celsius.
It's like all the cells in your body wake up.
About 300,000 people come to the city beach every year. But in the fall and winter, only the bravest dare take a dip in the Atlantic.
I think people who do it regularly, they never seem to get sick or anything, so I think it's very good for your immune system and, yeah, good for your skin also.
Now we're heading further inland. A 2-hour drive southeast of the capital is the Hrunalög Thermal Bath. A small cottage is the only sign the hidden hot spring exists. The two pools have room for about 15 people. The water temperature is a piping hot 35 degrees.
Very nice.
It's a nice feeling to be in here, especially when it's cold outside and then you dip in and then in the beginning you think it might be too hot, but you get used to it so fast and it's so comfortable.
Another 40-minute drive away, and Unnur takes us to an afternoon break in the town of Hveragerði. What's special about this place? The restaurant Kjøtt og Kunst, where chef Oloringi Renesen cooks all the food with geothermal steam. In earlier times, even bread was baked this way.
The taste comes from the food, because basically when you're cooking with the water and everything, a lot of taste go into the water. You know, and you cook in the oven, you will lose it in the hot air, but in this, it stays there.
Late in the afternoon, we head for Seljavatnalög. It's a hot spring not far from the Eyjafjallajökull volcano. The journey to the spring leads right by a glacier. After 15 minutes of walking, Unnur can finally dive in. The spa was built in 1923 and is one of the most beautiful on the island. Unnur even has her own relaxation kit. Her special swimming cap and floats for her legs allow her to drift effortlessly through the water.
So you take your pillow with you into your hot spring and take almost like a nap. You know, you're not falling asleep, but you're getting this really quality moment and rest.
In the evening, Önner's journey ends right where it began, at the Blue Lagoon. The water gets its blue color from algae and from minerals like silica and sulfur. It's said to be good for the skin, something that distinguishes it from most other hot springs in Iceland.
It feels very good. It's warm and good, and it's like bathing in milk, I would imagine, yeah.
Önner takes her time relaxing in the Blue Lagoon. The entrance fee is a steep 40 euros, while most hot springs and thermal spas on the island are free.
All right, that's not too bad. The price seems about right. Which brings me to food blogging, where you get great food ideas at the cost of just turning on your computer. We now meet one Austrian foodista whose hobby turned into her passion and who now offers scrumptious recipes and family accounts of food tasting that seem to have hit the sweet spot.
Mouth-watering images of food complete with recipes. No wonder Sie kocht is Austria's most popular food blog. But who is Frau Sie? Her real name is Susanne Zimmel, and she writes about cooking, homegrown herbs, and family life from her home in Mödling near Vienna. Her followers get a peek into her life and get to try their hand at her carefully crafted recipes.
It's important to me that I don't just post what I eat, but that I pass on good recipes to my readers. Sometimes I try out the same recipes many times, just to get it perfect.
Susanne originally wanted to document the renovation of her house, but 2 years later, her blog had turned entirely to food. Sie kocht is a time-consuming hobby. Hours are spent at the computer each week, editing pictures and writing the narratives to go with them.
Frau Sie is an invented character. It's me to a large extent, but I only show what I want to show, and that's important in blogging.
Today's recipe calls for a very special ingredient, bacon from the Mangalitsa pig. The only place to get it is at Thum, a butcher in downtown Vienna. She also swings by Feinkoch, a shop selling the ingredients needed for specific recipes, including spices and cooking instructions. Some of the recipes are from Frau Sie.
Look, these are mine. I haven't seen them before.
We take a lot of inspiration from cookbooks and blogs, and there's a wonderful food blog in Austria, Frau Sie's. I was already a follower, and at some point we thought we should try contacting her to see if she'd work with us and share her recipes. We're happy that it's worked out.
The web is helping spread culinary inspiration from around the world. Amateurs and professional chefs alike cater to all kinds of tastes. In 2012, Sie kocht won the very first Austrian Food Blog Award. Now there's a category just for newcomers. Organizer Alexandra Palla is a blogger herself. The popularity of the food blog is no mystery to her.
Food blogs are very authentic. They tell real stories. Nothing is staged or organized thematically like in a cookbook or magazine. The table isn't arranged in a studio by the stylist. Blogs tell everyday stories from the kitchen.
Or the garden even. The Sie residence is serving up chanterelle and porcini mushrooms on toasted bread and bacon.
Please don't burn the bacon, Robert.
Every instant counts when cooking on an open fire, but Susanne still makes time to record it all. Soon her photos will be posted online and the comments will flow in. Thousands of people check the blog every day to see if there are any new recipes and Sie family stories.
At first, I wanted to remain anonymous. That was the plan. But after about 6 months, it became a non-issue. It doesn't really work. People are very interested. They want to know who I am, the person behind it all.
Susanna's even found people who want to lend a hand.
Put your hand further in. Can you pick up the bread, please? Yes, that's great. You can dig in now.
The downside of being part of a food blogging family is that the meals are usually served slightly cold. But unlike Frau Zie's readers, they get to try the food firsthand.
Well, not too far away from Frau Zie, we head off north towards Bavaria and the Alpine foothills. And that's where you'll also find many people indulging in what is almost considered a national sport there, hiking. But if you're not used to it, you shouldn't just rush off and try it. There are some pitfalls, literally, and you have to give yourself some time to get used to the altitude. But we'll leave it to the expert to tell you all about it.
Hiking has never been more popular here in Germany. Nearly half the population regularly heads to the great outdoors to get some fresh air and exercise. Boasting around 1 million members, the German Alpine Club is the world's largest climbing association. Even early in the morning, the hiking trails in the foothills of the Alps outside Munich are teeming with people. The parking lot at Lake Schliersee is filling up. Many hikers set off alone. But others take along a guide, like Annette Babel. She teaches hiking courses, and today she's taking a group on a 5-kilometer hike. Nothing too challenging. The first thing she tells her participants is to get their bearings. That means finding out exactly where they are and knowing exactly where they're headed. What every hiker needs in their backpack, an up-to-date map of the area. And they're off. The next few hours are literally an uphill struggle. Carsten Fischer comes from Frankfurt. He's taking part because he loves being outdoors.
I love the mountains, and I want to learn the basics of hiking. Everything you need to know about walking in the mountains. It's a great way to get exercise and clear the mind.
The 2-day course costs about €100 and teaches participants not just about hiking, but also about local flora and fauna. Over the last few years, hiking has gone from being the type of thing pensioners do to a popular activity for all ages. These days, there's hardly anyone who doesn't enjoy a bracing walk in the fresh air. The most important lesson Annette Babel teaches her participants is this: know your limitations. The growing popularity of hiking has brought with it a rise in the number of accidents.
People are their own worst enemies when it comes to hiking. They tend to overestimate what they can do. They think they're in better shape than they are, and they set off without being adequately prepared. Proper preparation is absolutely critical.
So it's worth doing some homework. These days, books about hiking frequently top the bestseller lists, including one by German TV personality Happe Kerkeling. An account of his journey along St. James Way, it has sold more than 4 million copies, making it one of the most successful non-fiction books in Germany of recent decades. In stores across the country, hiking books are flying off the shelves.
More people have started hiking. It's no longer something for just the experts. It's become more mainstream. The market has opened up and become increasingly attractive.
Sales of hiking equipment are also booming. Outdoor Outfitters Globetrotter has seen a 15% rise in the last 5 years. These days, consumers want hiking gear that's practical and stylish.
A lot of people want gear that's useful and practical. But women in particular also care about the color and the way it looks.
Annette Babel also gives her course participants advice on choosing the right equipment. Walking sticks, for example, need to be light and easy to handle. No one wants to be saddled with extra weight when they're out walking. The right equipment, up-to-date maps, good technique, familiarity with first aid. There's more to hiking than many might think. It's a complicated business, but the rewards are well worth it.
And those were the highlights of this week. Thanks so much for watching Euromaxx. And don't forget, you can watch us on the internet as well. The address is dw.de/English/Euromaxx. We hope to see you again very soon. Bye-bye for now.